Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Midweek Minutes. We finally reached to the end of the Ephesians book we've been studying. We're now in chapter 6, and in this chapter, the Apostle Paul talks about the armor of God that we're to place on as Christians. Now, in the previous chapters, he's been talking about being in right relationship, and at the end of this chapter, he goes into the right gear. You see, when you're in right relationship and you have on the right gear, life is full of blessings. And that was the title of Sunday's message, Full of Blessing. And we started the chapter in Ephesians 6, and we went through verses 1 to 4. Let me read the passage for you. It says, "Children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord, for this is the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. This is the first of the 10 commandments that ends with the promise. And this is the promise. If you honor your father and mother, you will live a long life full of blessing. And now a word to you fathers. Don't make your children angry by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction approved by the Lord." I want to focus on one point from Sunday. It is, God placed great importance on the role of a parent. Now, this chapter starts off by saying, "Children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord." So you see, it's important for us to obey our parents and to be in right relationship because we belong to the Lord. This relationship has to be right. When we're in right relationship as children, we're able to obey and honor our parents as we should. When we're in right relationship as parents, we're able to train up our children in the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. So you see, it's out of right relationship with the God of the universe that we can have right relationships with the people in our lives. Now, I'm here in my backyard. This is one of the few days that us South Floridians can actually warm ourselves over the fire pit. So most of the time, I use my fire pit to cook. One of the things I like to prepare on my fire pit are marshmallows. I'll sit around with the kids, and the kids will invariably plunge their marshmallows into the fire. And I have to remind them, it's the heat that cooks the marshmallow. Some people like them crispy, and I like them somewhat crispy. But if you plunge it into the fire, it can burn and damage the marshmallow. And it's not perfectly done when you allow the heat to cook it. So you see, heat is good. And what's my point? In relationships, we have challenges. And challenges are good if you don't let them burn you. So you see, I'm in my football gear, in my backyard. That's kind of strange, but I'm trying to make a point here. But you know what's even stranger? If I was to get on the football field without my equipment, that would be so strange. In fact, it's so strange, they have a name for that. It's called rugby. But a lot of times, we believers step onto the gridiron of the spiritual warfare we're engaged in without our equipment. We don't remember our helmet of salvation, our breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, and the sword of the Spirit. You see, the fire is good in relationships, but we have to use our faith to prevent those fiery darts from harming us. It's good when we can grow and strengthen through relationships. And a particular word to you fathers, be patient with your children. Allow them to make mistakes. This passage tells us to be careful how we treat them. We don't want them to be discouraged. We want them to be brought up knowing that they have a loving father who's in right relationship with God and carries out a right relationship with them. So whether you're a parent, whether you're a child, whether you're a boss, whether you're a worker, whatever the relationships that exist in your life, we first have to be in right relationship with God. We have to have the right gear. And when we do that, life is full of blessings. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Midweek Minutes. I hope you'll join me again next week. Goodbye for now.